Hello and welcome. Here is DSSC for Design System Social Club. With me today is Jenny from Atlassian. Yay! Please clap. Please be supportive of what's happening. Jen from Netflix. Yoo-hoo!
Hi.
Danny from Amazon.
Yo.
Yeah. And Kelly from Shopify.
Hey.
So obviously not the most very button up anything right now, but this
And
is going
Christoph.
to be our. Yes, sorry.
From Intuit.
Yeah. Thank you. Anyway, so let's just start simple because it's our first one. So let's talk about how we actually end up in design system. So anybody wants to take the pole position, or should I just go? I feel like somebody else should talk. What does it mean?
Well, Jenny.
Nose goes.
This goes.
Who was
Jenny, do you
last?
want to go first?
Who was last? You were last.
I was?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's not super fair because it's definitely not part of the French culture, but okay. Anyway, I can go first for sure. So basically, I started to work in design system. I guess the first thing is that I was a webmaster when it meant that you were doing everything, right? And so I was doing design development, taking pictures, community management on, Facebook when it was still not Facebook that we know. Anyway, and so I feel like, I was working for this French National Cultural Institute in Paris. It was called Cité de la Musique. Now it's changed to Philharmonie de Paris. And every 3 or 4 years, the main website was going through a visual refresh. We were just basically changing everything. And I feel like before it was even called a design system or a style guide or anything, most of the time we were outsourcing it. I mean, every time actually. And we were asking, an agency to actually create what I would call in French, une charte graphique. So there you go. Vocabulary lesson right there. Anyway, so I was, every 3 or 4 years, we would ask an agency to actually create templates for us. And as I was continuing to do this every cycle, I started to have a better and better idea of what does it meant exactly and what are the components that needed to be there for me to actually build the website. Because after that, it was just Photoshop files, and I had with my team had to actually build the entire website with this. So that I think that this is pretty much how I started to work and think at a system level for an entire website. I'm talking about a website that has hundreds of pages and thousands of people a month on it, this kind of stuff. So anyway, so that was how I started, and then it naturally continued to be more and more live style guide that would actually be a reference for developers and designers. And then I moved to the US over 6 years ago now, working for this German startup. Same thing, I actually created what I would call a prehistoric design system for that German startup. And that's pretty much, I think my first experiences with design system. After that, I worked for a couple of years at Google where I was using Material. I was not part of the team, but I was using it. And then after that, I created a design system for ThoughtSpot, which is Silicon Valley startup. And now I'm working on IDS, which is the Intuit design system for Intuit. So it's a system of system. And I'm technically a principal designer, although I'm more on the technical side still. I'm a hybrid, like a few of us here on that talk. So that was me. Any questions? How did I go? Was it good?
You made it where you are. Good story. Can you change one or two things about this story? I would prefer if there was a.
Do you want a love story in the middle?
No, thank you.
Yeah, there wasn't enough tension, enough conflict in it. I would like to see more of like a story arc. You know?
Okay. I was struggling when I moved to the US. You know, I was actually by myself in my patio building that design system for the German company, and everybody was 9 hours away from me. So I was mostly by myself, you know, and the only social interaction that I had was when I was walking my dog in the dog park. So fun.
Okay.
And would you say
That's
that
good now.
design systems make global work a little bit easier, at least for the users of the design system, maybe not for the creators?
Yeah. I mean, let's hope so, right? It's like, this is kind of the idea, right? But yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, yes, I guess, I hope. It's, I mean, I think we can make like another topic just on that, right? The challenges of being geo-distributed, for sure. And I know we all work in companies that have a presence globally, so let's put it out for like another day. I'm sure we have big feels about that. Who wants to go next? And we're not doing the nose thing, so I'm going to pick somebody if nobody volunteers. No? You sure? Okay, Jenny,
I can't go
you're
next. There's too many French people in a row.
True. Jenny,
So, Jenny.
please.
Just popcorn.
Yeah. You're not French, Jenny, are you? We're good, right?
I took French in high school
Okay.
for 3 years.
That
I'm
counts.
part
I don't remember
French.
anything.
Sorry, Jen.
I'm a little French.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's my first design system? I was also a webmaster, a web designer back in the days. When I was in college, I think I remember working for one of the engineering departments, and we had to create like templates with Macromedia Contribute. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then it became Dreamweaver. And so
Yeah.
I was already like creating like modules and all that stuff for all those templates to update very similarly, like hundreds and hundreds of pages across big data websites. And then I think it just kept, I was always like web designer, designing, developing stuff. And when I got to, what's it called? SugarSync, we were, rebranding everything. And we actually like built a whole bunch of like style guides and everything. And that's before like the term design systems was around. And then I feel like I went to I was always just like creating templates and stuff, and I just never really connected all the dots to see like, oh, we're building a system, right? So I went to this Smashing Mag conference, and like I think it was Nathan Curtis that was there, and then he was doing a talk on design systems. And by then I was already at Udacity, and we had also done another rebrand there. So we built an HTML CSS framework and a style guide with that as well. And so when I was at that conference, I was like, this whole time I've been building a design system. And then at that talk, there's like so many other great speakers that were like telling us how to pitch a design system and all that kind of stuff. So right after that conference, I got super pumped, and I went back and I pitched the design system for Udacity. And so then that's how I got into this world of systems. I'm going to popcorn it to Jen.
Hello. Do I say hello every time that I unmute? I have such a I have such a different path than everyone. I'm not a hybrid. I was never a webmaster. I worked with special education. I worked in special education for about 6 years. I went to a junior college as I was taking night classes. And then I got a scholarship to go to UC Santa Cruz. And I thought I was going to become a teacher. And I was doing cognitive psychology. And then I took some human-computer interaction classes and universal design. Totally fell in love. I was like, this is like kind of that hybrid of my geekiness and tech. And like I was playing video games, and I was like setting my alarm clock to play World of Warcraft back in the day. And Then it was like the psychology of humans and interaction, and universal design of how really like making things inclusive in another way. And yeah, and so I fell in love with tech and in that aspect. And I still worked with special education as I was trying to find a tech role. I started off as a product manager. I did not succeed because I was very young. I did not know how to push people. When engineers told me they couldn't do something, I was like, that makes sense, okay. And I didn't really know, like, scope creep was something new to me. I didn't know anything. Also, I kind of wanted more like control of the nuance of like interactions that the users were going through. And so my CEO at the time, it was called Elance, a startup at the time. He said that I should try design because I was like self-taught in Photoshop and I was making some things. And I started off as a visual designer, and then I was like an interaction designer. And then we merged with a company, like a competitor called Odesk. We changed into a second company that rebranded into a third company, and it was called Upwork. And I was a product designer doing like features and conversion and funnels and all those things. And then I discovered what design systems was. And I've always cared about basically when you're interacting with anything, and to make it really clear that you're not, you cannot see a designer designing something. Whoa, what's happening here? How am I so large?
Trying stuff out. Continue.
I've always been a designer that just really cares about the whole entire flow and not just the silo that I'm working in. And I think that was kind of my first step into design systems and really caring about like what the whole experience is throughout just what I'm in charge of. And then there was an opportunity to work on the design systems team at Upwork. And I went to like a design system Wednesday in San Francisco. I remember it was at Uber. And I was like, this is my jam. I became obsessed with components. And and so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I was working with that design systems team. I was focusing on accessibility a lot. And then I was hired for a design systems team, like a core team at Netflix. That's cool. Really it. And I'll popcorn over to Danny.
Thank you, Jen. That was a wonderful origin story. So I'm trying to think of how far back to go for mine. I guess we can start roughly in about 2005. I think I built my first website for a friend's mom who did like murals and like artwork on walls and stuff. I think I got paid $200, which was a lot of money to me at the time.
The big bucks.
I know. That's 2005 money, so it's probably like $300 now. But I remember doing it in Dreamweaver and then FTPing HTML and CSS and images up to like GoDaddy hosting or something. And then I just really wanted to keep doing that, even though that sounds terrible. I went to UCSD and I did a major in digital media, I think. And then I minored in HCI, actually. I probably should have doubled in HCI because that was a lot more interesting than what I did. I actually had to make a lot of films in digital media and watch like a lot of films. And then I got an internship as part of like being like a senior in college at a small like web design, development, hosting, email hosting agency in San Diego that was like 4 people. And I was the only designer / only front-end developer. So I would design websites and then code them for clients. Looking back, as an intern, I feel like there was probably something not so ethical about me doing work for clients and that company charging the clients hourly rates on my time. But it got me in the door. I guess that they hired me after college. So I guess I got all's well that ends well. And then it kind of dissolved, and I started doing just freelance stuff on my own for maybe like 6 months or a year. And then I got a call from a friend's brother who was a founder at this startup called Spokio. Do any of you know Spokio? Okay, good. Don't look it up. It's a bad company. Just kidding. It's a people search engine, so you can put in someone's name, email address, phone number, and find information on them. There are legitimate uses to that. They do partner with like suicide helplines and stuff like that. So if someone calls, they can find that person's address and potentially send out like an ambulance. So there are, and like, people find old relatives and stuff like that. So it's not only for creepy stuff, but it was a lot of fun actually working there. I'm like still like best friends with a lot of people from there, and we regularly meet up and play video games and stuff like that still. And it was at that company that I kind of started in, I guess before design systems, it was pattern libraries. I remember the application was a Ruby on Rails application, and most of the developers were like backend developers. So I did a lot of like the CSS and like front end coding. And I remember my big kind of contribution was creating this like presenter layer of like basically mapping our data to kind of simplistic templates through like a presenter layer that kind of matched everything up. And I remember that was kind of my big like contribution to the architecture. And then I found my way up to Seattle and joined Amazon. I started, I like to say that I've never like transferred anywhere in Amazon, but the team that I joined moved around me a lot. So like the first year I had like 6 different managers, just through like reorgs and stuff like that. And I work on the seller side of things on Amazon, and mostly on the mobile application that third-party sellers use to sell stuff. And so again, I was kind of, doing some light coding and mostly design and stuff like that. And that's actually where I got started in kind of doing mobile design systems and cross-platform, multi-platform design systems. And that's where I started the Style Dictionary framework. I built it originally for our team to share styles across Android and iOS and web, and then open source that and produce that. And that's one of my contributions to the community. And that's where I am today. So I guess the last person to go would be K-Leg.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it's funny because the last time I did some interviewing, it was so before I was at Shopify, I was looking for a new job, and I interviewed at a few companies. And every single of the interview processes I kind of hijacked. And, as a UX developer, you don't really have a portfolio presentation, but I kind of wanted to do one. And so I hijacked every single one of their processes and did a presentation about my origin story and how I came into design systems and what I built at various companies. So it feels like an interview almost right now.
Do you want to show this presentation? Do you have it?
I still have it, actually. It's definitely not up to date after 3 years of Shopify. But yeah, no, I can start with, I'm super lazy. And I found that with code, you can reuse bits and pieces of a design. So when I was, like 13, 14, I was making silly websites for my high school and for my class, and like really stupid websites. And I discovered PHP, I discovered Dreamweaver, and I thought, oh wait, you can reuse the header, you can reuse the footer. And this is when I started becoming introduced to the idea of components or reusable parts of a design. Fast forward to university, as I said, I'm very lazy, and I had been making websites in the past few years, but I was stuck in psychology in university. The only really interesting parts of school for me was around HCI, and so all the human-computer interaction and cognitive science stuff was really interesting to me. So kind of where UX comes from, and I didn't know UX was really a thing at this point. And so I get my mom gets really mad at some point, and I'm really stuck. I'm like 4 years of university and no degree, no nothing. So what happens is she's telling me, you either finish your degree or get a job, or the boot and out of the house. So I was like, well, I guess I'm not getting my degree. Let's be honest with myself. But maybe I can get a job. I've been making websites for a bit now, and who knows. So I joined this by complete chance. Being very perseverant and kind of being very friendly with the owner of an agency in Rennes, where I was born, in the west of France. And so somehow I start there. Like they felt like giving me a chance. And my first day on the job, it was to redesign a website. And I remember starting using this thing called Blueprint, which is, I guess, right before Bootstrap became a thing, but same principle. And this was a methodology that I thought, oh my God, I need to reapply that. This is great to have these reusable components. And also, again, I'm very lazy. So it came with everything and I just had to theme it. Later on, I get introduced to Sass, very good for lazy people as well. You can build a framework and reuse it from client to client. Very, very nice. So just systematizing the work I was doing and making it reusable from project to project was a good driver for me. And then after 5 years of feeling like I was starting to do the same thing over and over again, I'm like, okay, I should probably look elsewhere. And I wanted to work on products. And so somehow I found a job at the BBC, worked on BBC News website. For the first time, I worked with a proper UX team, and that was awesome. Learned a lot with the GEL folks, helped them with their design system. At that time in 2012, they were trying to think about how they would approach the whole responsiveness of BBC, which itself is many, many brands. Then after a few months, I joined a startup. It was interesting, let's put it that way, but then really quickly I moved to Guardian, where I for the first time, I enjoyed the real post-agile environments where you ship many, many times a day, but at the same time, you want to systematize parts of the product. So it was very, very fast pace, and at the same time needed this foundational bits and pieces. So I did that a bit, and then I went to the Financial Times, who tweeted at me to say, "Hey, we saw what you were doing at the Guardian. What do you think about doing that full time at the Financial Times?" And we have a team, and so I started working on a proper design system team at the Financial Times, and then my wife and I decided to move to California and met with Gina. I think it was like the second or third time I only had met with her. And she was like, "Oh, so you're going to be looking for a job, right?" I was like, "Oh, probably at some point." "Oh, you should come to Salesforce. We're building this design system called Lightning." And I had no idea what Salesforce was doing, let's be honest, but I had heard of Lightning, and I looked into it. I fell in love with the team, fell in love with the product. And they were very well funded and very talented. So I was feeling very, very lucky to join that team. And then after a couple of years, I had a chat with the folks at Shopify, and very quickly felt like this was a great company to work at for me. So this is where I've been so far. And I've worked on Polaris, and more specifically the tooling side of Polaris. Yeah, that's my origin story. The laziness gets you places, apparently. I don't know.
It's funny because I definitely I think I actually put this concept of the like the good side of laziness in something. Like there is somebody I think it's the creator of Linux, something like that, who was talking about like 3 big principles of like good development, and one of them is laziness, in the sense that, you know, it push you to actually make things smart, like work smarter, so that you work less, you know. And so I can definitely relate to that. Also, I was thinking while you were talking about like building websites and stuff like that, anybody has still access to like first websites? I have one I can show. No?
Nope.
Everybody's too afraid.
On GeoCities.
Check out this beauty. Yeah.
Nice.
So this is actually a funk band that I had, you know. So
looks so sick.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
Look
cool.
at that. This is me here, obviously. So that's cool. You know, a 10-piece funk band. So I don't know, but you know, I love also the fact that, you know, on top it says Adobe Flash Player is no longer supported. There was a sick animation on, you know, on the header, but anyway, that's one of my first websites, I think.
Rest in peace, Flash.
Rest in peace, Magical Sauce. Anyway, cool. Well, anybody else like, so who didn't build website? I guess Jen, you didn't really like build a website, right?
I mean, I built my MySpace profile website, my like little
It
MySpace
counts.
page.
Yeah, legit.
Did you-
Actually, I did some Drupal stuff for like some enterprise when I was working with like enterprise folks, because like I don't know, engineers, I have no idea. I've done like some things, but not any really specific things. I'm not a developer. I'm not as cool as you guys.
We should try
I'm the
to look.
mascot of this team. I'm the mascot of this team.
You're too cool to code.
Ah.
This is
Yeah,
the-
exactly.
Oh my god! Did you make that up? That is amazing.
Yeah, I feel like first of all, I feel like, you know, MySpace counts, obviously. And also I know I'm like
GeoCities
trying.
apparently is a big thing here.
Oh yeah. I wonder if I could find my
Yeah.
MySpace.
Oh, no. That's fine.
Okay. So I guess like the main question that is still remaining is, how do we met? Maybe people would know why this group of five misfits are talking to each other, right? So who wants to give a first thing, a first bit?
I wish Maria came and like popped in, because for me, she's like my connection to you guys and gals. And yeah, for me, yes.
Oh, I'm just seeing.
I'm like, is she a special guest?
I mean, we can try. I'm
we
gonna
should
try
for
to
sure have her. She's the greatest, and she just got married. So awesome. But for me, I went to a Design System Wednesday that Eventbrite. She was putting on. She works at Eventbrite, and she's in charge of the DSW Design System Wednesdays, and it was at Uber. I don't think I met any of you then, and then I think a couple. Yeah, I think it was a while. I remember kind of going there, not knowing anyone. And then like Caleb would walk in the room and everyone would be like, Caleb. And then Danny, I met, it was at one of them where you were in South Bay and I was in South Bay. We're all in South Bay. And so we went to one and then we were like walking and then we were like walking back and I was like, oh, I parked, I'll give you a ride home. And then he's like, no, because you're a stranger. I'm not going with you. And then you were like, okay, bye. And I'm like, okay, one day. And then I remember Jenny, I met her at another Design System Wednesday, and she was like interviewing or something. She said something where it was like, I'd like, I have my presentation. I can go over it, like kind of like a practice. And I was definitely like, I want to see this because I want to, see like how it's done. So then I probably pinged her after or thanked her and like gushed all over it. And then Christoph, I don't remember when we met. And no, but really,
I was always there.
You were always there. You were always there. And no, but I think what really, and then I'll stop talking, but what really solidified this for me is that I remember we were going to Santa Cruz and it was Danny's place. And I was like, I'm going to drive all these people. We're going to be forced in a car and we'll all talk and hang out. And then I was like, I'll pick everyone up. I don't care.
It's horrible.
And that was that for me. So just be like a driver and drive new friends around.
It was a fun day at Santa Cruz that day for sure. And I think the boardwalk helped. So thanks.
Definitely.
Thanks, Santa Cruz, for that.
And I still tell people your question that you asked us that night at dinner, Christoph. It was a good question. Yeah. It's a good icebreaker question.
On what do you splurge?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's
good
some
memory.
Charcuterie boards in there. I remember plants.
Oh yeah.
Eyelashes, haircuts.
That was me.
Haircut.
Eyelashes.
Yeah.
Cured meat.
GameStop. Yeah. Dogecoin.
Cool. I want to add that actually I feel like the first person that I met here is Kelly, and I think it was at the SAS meetup, which was actually like more like it was kind of baffling because like coming from France, like you end up in San Francisco and you go to like a SAS meetup because I was generally interested, but then you basically have like the creator of SAS in the room, and then Gina, and then Kelly, who actually maybe not everybody knows about that, but he actually wrote a book that I read before I met him. So it was like, wow, I know this dude. I read his book.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
did you have him sign it?
Later on, I actually did. And I even actually sent one copy back to one of my friends back in France because I know she was reading it too. And I was like, hey, I know the author. So anyway, I probably have it somewhere. You probably have it too, Kelly. So anyway, that's how I met Kelly. And it was funny because literally there was like Kelly, Gina, and I'm blinking. Who's the author of SAS? Please help me. Yeah,
Hampton, yes.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool night. So that's how I met Kelly, and I feel like probably the next person that I met was Jenny at Design System Wednesdays. And I want to say that I was probably at the first Design System Wednesdays in San Francisco, and it was at Eventbrite, I think. And it was before Maria, like she took over when her manager left to New York. I think he's in New York now. So anyway, small world, but that's how we got to know each other. And obviously, as stated before, we used to all live in the South Bay, and that's not exactly true anymore because I live in Colorado and Kelly is
in Seattle.
Yeah,
I mean, near Seattle.
Seattle's terrible.
Yeah,
I would say the weather. I miss the weather, but aside from that, it's been good.
Yeah, same. Cool. Well, I mean, we've been live for 35 minutes, so hey, yes.
Longest 35 minutes of my life.
Good job, everyone.
Yeah.
God.
High five. Anyway, so maybe like I've seen up to like 6 viewers of that live stream, so this is a start. And
the misclick, and then
probably
they drop off.
Apart from Donna, who was there like apparently the entire time. So hey, Donna, thank you. And then I guess we'll do another one soon.
Wait, don't we do Christoph's recommendations corner?
Oh yeah, sure. If you want. Do you have a recommendation? Should we go for a recommendation? I do have a recommendation.
I mean, I have a lot of things I can recommend. Tons of stuff. Like
recommend what? Like, I missed this part.
Oh, it was in the chat. We said we'd all say something that we can recommend, and it could be anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was paying attention to everyone speaking.
Oh no, this was okay. Never mind.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
that was before.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so I can show this. Wow.
Man, I was gonna show ice cream too.
I was just telling my boyfriend about this, that you talked about this cookie crumble thing.
Yeah, this is my favorite ice cream flavor right now. Big in my heart. So, just saying, try it, tell me what you think. But please, Danny, enlighten me. I would love to try new ice cream. What was yours?
I actually just went to the store today, not only to buy ice cream, but also to buy ice cream. So I actually haven't tried it yet, but I've heard from very trusted sources that the Lucky Charms ice cream is awesome. And so I just bought that today, and so we'll try that out. Also, I mean, whenever Talenti's is on sale, like sometimes they'll do like 2 for $5 or whatever, I always get some Talenti's. Usually the mint chocolate chip or the cookie dough, solid, both very solid. I was also gonna recommend some content to watch. We just finished Fleabag, which is on Amazon Prime Video. And
what a coincidence.
I know, weird. Great show. Wish there was more seasons of it. It's only 2 seasons. We got through it in about a week. So we're looking for our next show to watch. It'll probably be Lupin, I believe. I've heard good things about that.
Okay.
I just want to say really quick, sorry.
Yeah. Go for it.
That I have a text thread with my siblings that I was at Target. I took a picture of this Lucky Charms ice cream, and I'm like, what a world to live in today. Like, what is this collab that I don't know? And I would have gotten that ice cream, except I had the box of Lucky Charms in my cart already. So, like, we have a special place in our heart. Girl. Yeah, I didn't want to look super high, but I will. So, yeah, report back on that.
Okay.
Report back.
I'll let you know. We'll probably eat some tonight. Yes, that is it.
Oh, one other thing. There's been studies done for the cookie dough ice creams, and Ben & Jerry's has the most cookie dough per like ratio in ice cream. So
that's a very important point of data. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
You can make a data-informed decision.
I want ice cream.
So I did try the Jenny's brand that you recommended, Danny.
So good, right? Which flavor did you get?
Something like peanut butter and like chocolate flakes, and then there's another one that is like brown butter or something like that. Can't remember now.
And there's also gooey butter cake. The gooey butter cake is really good.
So it is good ice cream. I don't know if I want to like spend that much on an ice cream pint every time, but it's a nice change. So thanks for that.
Yep.
Jenny or Kelly, do you have anything you want to recommend on top of your head?
Yeah, I have something, but you go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if you guys are still in South Bay, they just opened a new Moto Hawaii, which is mochi donuts. And so me and Jen got to try them this week. Happy birthday, Jen.
Thank you. I had a special delivery from Jenny, and my boyfriend was just like wanting to try them last week. And I was like, oh, I don't even know where they are, but I've been seeing them everywhere on Instagram.
Yeah, so there used to be this pop-up shop in Mitsuya Japanese market, and like people would always wait like 2 hours in line for it, but it's kind of nice. They have like a brick and mortar now. You can just order it and then like go pick it up whenever you want, and it's like nice and fresh. And mochi donuts, super good.
I actually think I had those last weekend too. Really good.
So are we talking about that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I see one with Fruity Pebbles, and that's very interesting to me.
They have different flavors every day.
Cool. Actually, so I don't know if you remember Brian, who used to work. He's a UX eng at ThoughtSpot. You probably met him when you went to the interface, the meetup that I was doing in Sunnyvale. And he actually brought those things a couple of times. So yeah, I do recommend them greatly. They're awesome. And Thanks, Brian. Okay, Kelly, up next. What do you wanna share? Here's a cat.
Yeah. So I just oh yeah, nice. So Danny's showing a cat right now for those who are listening. The cat is black and white and very cute and likes being petted apparently. Anyway, so I just moved teams to a team that is building a command line interface tool, command line interface command. There's many ways to say it. Anyway, we're building a CLI. And I was looking for UX guidelines for building good CLIs. And so it turns out it's not easy to find good UX guidelines because most of the CLI tools out there have been built by developers for developers. And if you ever use something like LS, it's in your terminal, the documentation is not amazing. And the error messages are not amazing. The way of using it, I mean, it's fast and it does what it's supposed to do, but it's lacking a bit of soul sometimes. And so as bigger, more complex user interfaces in the terminal have been evolving, there's been a ton of people thinking about how we can make this almost like a conversation between the user and the terminal, and how you have this kind of right to fail, because a lot of it is trial and error and like trying a lot of things and throwing a lot of commands at the thing, and then at some point it kind of works. So I want to give a shout out to this tool, this website that's been shared by Mas Lalani, a developer on my team who's been awesome. And so it's called, if you go to clig.dev, I'm going to share my screen for those who can see. This thing has been designed by Mark Hurrell and written by a few folks that I'm going to talk about real quickly. But Mark Hurrell, he's the designer behind gov.uk. He's also one of the people who's been the most influential in the global experience. What is it? Like GEL at the BBC. So it's been written by Anand Prasad, Ben Firstman, Carl Tishian, and Eva Parish, and they're all from amazing places. And so one of them, like two of them, are co-creators of Docker Compose, so they know a bit about CLIs. And I love that the first part of this is just talking about how it should be human first, and how Unix commands have been written under the assumption that they were going to be used primarily by other programs. But it turns out there's humans who are also using them. And so this is trying to say, hey, humans should be able to use the things you build. Try to put yourselves in the shoes of your user. This is how to write a good error message, etc., and like how to write a good commands. It's lots of small, kind of nitpicky things that set the base for great user interface guidelines for a CLI. And I love that as somebody who's working on this stuff at the moment and thinking about how we can codify it and almost put a cheat sheet together so that our developers don't have to read this entire thing when they build a CLI or contribute to one that already exists, but at least get some inspiration from it. So I'm trying to do a condensed version of this essentially that applies to Shopify, and it's an awesome read. So definitely recommend it. clig.dev, and kudos to Mark Hurrell. It's a great design, very very nice. So that's me.
How much does it like remind you of? I want to say, wow. I think we lost Kelly.
He just ended on a mic drop. That's all he had to say.
Yeah, it's like, I have that to recommend. Thank you, guys. See ya. Oh, it is back.
I thought I was going to stop sharing, and I left the studio. This is great.
Yeah.
Sure. Great call to action.
Yeah, you can do that. So I was about to ask you, Kelly. How much does it remind you of, like this whole like how do you call that? Like like the UX of bots, basically. Like because you were
conversational
talking about
guidelines. Yeah. It's got again, they're trying to frame it as a conversation, and I like that. And so I think that's definitely interesting. I think there's something to it, but at the same time, you don't want your CLI tool to be too smart and too clever. We have that at Shopify. We have some bots that help merchants with their day-to-day, and it's a little smarter than what I would expect a CLI tool to be.
Okay,
but there's definitely some parallels there.
Yeah. Do you plan on, like, I don't know, at one point maybe like publishing an article on what you're doing, or for the moment it's going to be just
I'm thinking about where this condensed version should live. Should it be internal and then our developers can see it, and that's it? Or should it be part of Polaris and part of one of our experiences? It's still undecided. We'll see. Yeah.
Thanks. Cool. Let us know if something is visible for us. By the way, I see Danny's strategy to like add more cats to this stream so we get more viewers. So thanks, Danny, for the effort there.
Well, I was like, is he going to pick up his cat or baby Jeffrey? Which one is he going to be? I was like, is baby Jeffrey crawling already?
He's walking now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw him at the beach.
But oh yeah. We posted about that. He's very fast. He runs now.
Cool. Okay. Anybody has anything else that they want to talk about, or it's a wrap for today?
I mean, we should probably have some sort of sign off. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Good night and good luck. Right.
We came prepared. I don't know. Anybody has an idea?
What's your sign off? What's your tagline?
Well, your sign off was made just 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no.
Usually I like to say when I'm leaving meetings, stay fresh cheese bags. But
Oh wow. Okay, that's classy.
I like it.
That's something.
I mean, you lived in San Diego, so I'm not expecting much more from here.
Wow.
Sorry to everyone who's listening who lives in San Diego. Sorry. We'll cut that.
Now I want to delete this.
No. I love San Diego, actually. It's awesome. Awesome place. It's
yeah,
beautiful.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I like the idea. So, stay fresh, cheese bags. The problem is like trying to say it all together. It's going to be a nightmare. So,
I'm just going to hang up now.
Let's do that.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Oh, we wave. Bye.
Yeah, we wave. Bye.